Greetings, you've landed at the VUC, IP Communications and VoIP Community. We would like to thank Simwood.com for their support. Simwood can turn you as a developer into a telco. Our hosted PBX is from OnSIP.com, and you can go to GetOnSIP.com for a URL people can click to call you. We've been privileged over the last 5 years to be using the best conference bridge on the planet. Yes, I'm talking about ZipDX.com, full color, full featured, full HD conference bridge. Our website, vuc.me on the web, is hosted by Bluehost.com. And our worldwide local rate dial-ins are from Voxbone.com. And it's exciting times over at the VUC. We've got a full house on the Hangout and a great session. I'd just like to mention, as I sometimes am wont to do, that the EFF could use your support, EFF.org. Go throw a couple of dollars that way, and we'll see what happens, okay? Now, I'm going to move over to this cam just to say that we have some great stuff lined up. Lots of good guests, and Alan Quayle is going to take over in just a second. But we have an exciting, dangerous demo. And it's so dangerous that we've invited Debbie Davies, not the guitarist, although she does dabble in that, probably. No, she doesn't. But she's with us, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, we've got the excitement of the winners of the Paris TADHack. I was a personal witness of that. In fact, have been subpoenaed to testify, actually, but let's move on to Alan and let him get serious about this stuff. Alan?
Hey, Randy, thanks so much. Yes, you were there. You were lying on your back with your legs in the air. And we have the video as well. But moving on. So this is the third part of where we just review and chat with some of the winners from TADHack Paris that was all the way back on the 12th and 13th of December. So let me just give you a quick TADHack update. We actually ran an event last month in Japan. So just go to the TADHack site. You can see all the winners there, some amazing innovations, some really interesting mashups between, for example, Matrix and Telestacks that came out of TADHack Japan. So again, well worth having a look through the hacks there. We've got TADHack London coming up in April. So again, seeing great registrations there, and the great and the good will be there. We'll have Dan Jenkins finally at a TADHack. And Moshe will be there as well, so it'll be a great lineup of people at the hackathon. And also, I don't think Adam's on yet, but Cisco Spark Troppo will be one of the sponsors of TADHack London. And it's not up yet, but just a quick mention, we do have TADHack Montevideo coming up in May, and that'll be working with some of the universities and local developer community there. So lots happening. But let's get down to the focus of this show, which is TADHack Paris, and reviewing some of the excellent, insightful, and quite worrying hacks that were created, looking at Rianne there in terms of worrying. But what I'm going to suggest is we kick off with Tim, and we will lead with Tim and his dangerous demo. So Tim, over to you.
Yeah, I'm just, so the TADHack that we did in Paris was to remotely control an IoT device, and I learned a whole lot of interesting things from that, one of which was never trust Wi-Fi. But so two other things came out of it, one of which was that I came back, or three things. I came back and decided that it would be interesting to look into whether it was possible to avoid using Wi-Fi. So I then started working on using SIMs and 2G on the same platform. So I did that, and made some very interesting contacts at that event, which may, in the near future, turn into something quite exciting, but I can't really talk about that. And the third thing was, having developed this to a point where it did something useful, I thought it would be fun to make it do something visible. And so what you see behind me and in the other image, let me see, And if you can choose, Randy, can you select the big camera of the stars as the main image? Is that a thing you can do?
Yes.
He's popped off to put a
Yeah.
pizza in the oven.
Yeah. You know, we've got it. There it is.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
No, it is. It's the main.
Oh, okay. Right. Really? I'm puzzled now. Okay.
Yep. It's the main camera.
Okay. So what you can see there is the sculpture that Debbie did. Debbie's going to say a word or two about what it is, and then we're going to remotely control it. And some lucky person is going to be the person who gets to remotely control this. Well, or Randy. I'm not sure which. Maybe easier because he can control his screen better. So, Debbie, tell us about Baby Star here.
Okay, so Starway, the one that you're looking at the moment, is an interactive sculpture that I made for Burning Man in 2014. The one that you're looking at the moment is a very well working, good working prototype that Tim is now messing around with. The premise behind it was the final object was a star made of stars. So there's 12 in that configuration. The final one was 240 in the shape of the star. And the idea was that it sat on the pyre at Burning Man, and if you found a laser-cut wooden star with that had an RFID tag on it, you could bring it to the sculpture, put it on the reader, and it would light up one of the stars for you. We never got the tech working, so I've handed over the prototype to Tim and said, do what you want, make it light up in whichever way you want to. So we've discussed some ideas, and I think he's been doing some stuff with RFID tags, but it could be anything really. It doesn't have to be that.
So what we've, but I should say that this thing is about what, a meter tall, whereas the one in the real one is 5 meters.
5 meters, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a shrunk down tiny version, but you know, never mind. We work with what we're given. Although I don't think it would be very popular having a 3-meter sculpture in my house.
No.
So
in America anyway.
Yeah, no, and my house isn't really big enough. So I can control this thing from my phone, which is kind of fun. But what's more interesting, and that's the demo I did at TADHack, was the ability to control an IoT device from your phone. But it occurred to me that it might be useful for other people to be able to control a phone, control it as well. So I would like to be able to convey this this communication, this control to somebody else. So in this case, Randy is going to this this demo page, and he's going to click on borrow a device from a friend, and I'm going to lend him a device. So,
all right, here we are.
So he shows this QR code. Now, normally you wouldn't do this. You do this in person rather than over a video link. But nonetheless, so I now hold up my phone so that it can see that QR code, and the two of them have a quick chat. And I'm now going to send the access. I now send Randy access to the device, and I'm just going to, there we go. So now, if you go back to that menu and click on Starway, you now have, in theory, permission to access that device. Let's see if it works. Now, we had a bit of trouble with this in the practice run, so it may take a couple of shots. The tension, it's good for the tension here.
Yeah, we need this.
We're not getting there, are we?
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I can feel it.
Okay. It's third time lucky, you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's really being more than 3 times.
Whose idea was the jumping up icons?
There we go.
Anyways, here we go.
No.
Now we know this is going to work sooner or later.
Yeah, it's. I also know what the problem is. I just haven't fixed it yet. I found it out this afternoon.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not that easy to fix, unfortunately.
That's why they call them dangerous demos.
Yeah, more dangerous than I'm comfortable with, to be honest. Are we there yet? No.
Not quite.
Wait
a minute. Let me give it the full shift reset.
Okay.
That's the, look. Dun, 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 dun.
Right, now
Do-do-do-do.
you can
Now I need
control...
to switch over. Well, wait a minute. How?
No, no, it's fine. So each of those you can click on. Let's show it each way round. So if you pick a star, you'll see that the stars have got hotspots on them.
Well, first we need to go back. Just
Well, no, do it
Oh.
here, and then we can, because people can see it behind me as
All
well.
right, so I'm going
So
to
we click on a star, and that star will now now.
Well, we don't see it behind you though.
Well, okay, all right. Well, you're going to have to flick over then.
I'm going to have to flick over
to the other one.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, this is a little complicated. Stop. I need to stop sharing the screen. Now, this is a little weird, actually. We didn't think about this. I'm going to click on the topmost star. And theoretically, you can see.
It is indeed illuminated.
And I'll go back to my screen in a second, but because this is a little laborious to switch, I'm going to now click on the bottommost star. And you should see that one, right? It's actually a little hard to tell. And I'm going to go on the leftmost star. Oops.
Well, the red
There you
one.
go.
Yes, there you go.
It is working. I can see it's working, but it's a little less easy to see because of, on my end, obviously, I have to double
So it's
click on
a
the
bit-
right. No, I mean, it's a little
It's
less.
logistically difficult to do it over a video
Yeah.
share. Yeah,
But I'm going to, look, we see the one that's flashing. I'm going to move down from that one, and then I'll show what I'm doing. And down again, and now up back to the topmost star.
So there we go. So what we could do now, if let me just summarize what the story is here, and then we can move on to other folks, and maybe at the end we can come back and do foolish things.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what we've done there is we've given Randy secure access to this device in a way that, and I'm not worried about the fact that it's recorded, because anybody can scan that QR and it won't work for anybody else now, because he's got it and nobody else is going to get it. So that's a secure access to an IoT device that's sitting in my home over the internet. Now, okay, it took a couple of shots to get connected, but it's also direct, so it's not going through a server anywhere. So if my web server goes down or out of business or whatever, Randy still has control over these stars. And very briefly, the stars are controlled by a beagle bone. And again, if we have some time at the end, I will give you a fantastically lovely story about why it's a beagle bone. But we'll come back to that. So, Alan, back to you, I think. Did any of that make any sense?
Yes, it did, Tim. Maybe you could discuss a little bit how you used Cisco Spark Tropo in this configuration.
So in this particular configuration, I'm not doing that yet.
Gotcha.
What you would do next is you would say, I want to connect to. If I want to allow somebody else to control this, I might add this to a Cisco Spark room, which is what I did. The second part of the demo I did in Paris. This is logistically difficult enough as it is without adding another layer of indirection and other sorts of video calls into it. But in principle, in fact, we could have done this over Cisco Spark as well. It's basically.
You need to explain the exchange of the fingerprint.
Do I? Do
Well,
we
enough so I can play the.
Oh, right. So yes, okay. So what we're doing is this is actually exchanging. What you've seen there is exchanging a PKI. So we're building on the fly a PKI. We're building an secure IoT key exchange visually using WebRTC. So it's actually quite it's a thing that's always been really difficult to get right. But I'm hoping that this is the easiest way anyone's ever seen of doing it.
For sure, absolutely. I mean, it's very impressive. And I think using the Cisco Room, I'm seeing this pop up in a lot of different hacks. It's just such an easy and intuitive way to enable that type of control. So I think we're going to see that pop up a lot more often. I mean, you led the way, Tim, but in Japan we had a very similar type of hack being used for controlling in-home IoT devices as well. So it's definitely set a trend.
Cool. I'm all about doing that. That's great.
Any other questions for Tim?
You know me. Security's important when you do IoT.
Excellent. This is now my theme tune.
Okay. I have a question for you, Tim.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's very impressive, but I happen to know that you are very keen to use IPv6 for such things as this, and I know that Randy is also IPv6 enabled. So is this working peer-to-peer over IPv6?
It was this morning, and this afternoon it isn't, because I switched it off, because I thought that might have been the issue, and I haven't put it back on again. So yes, it is capable of doing IPv6, but this particular instant it isn't. Out of cowardice on my part.
But it's very impressive nonetheless.
Exactly. No, that was excellent, Tim. So for the sake of time, thanks, Tim. Let's move on. So, Johannes, maybe you could run through the hack that won your prize. Unfortunately, Jean-Luc isn't available to be on the call. He is backpacking around Southeast Asia. So I'll hand over to you, Johannes, and let you describe what was a very impressive hack that was created in such a short time.
Yes, unfortunately, Jean-Luc is not here, so I will say a few words about the hack and how the hack was achieved. The hack was really a very great idea by Jean-Luc, where he thought, how can we make a shopping experience more engaging, and how can we add real-time collaboration into a shopping experience? So a user could go to an e-commerce site, and as he browses through products on an e-commerce site, he can see if other folks are also browsing the same products. So on a particular product, you have a presence indication that tells you, oh, I'm not the only person looking at this. And if there is actually more than one customer looking at an item, you have an opportunity to engage with those other customers. So you can, for example, initially engage with chat messaging. You can exchange some chats. If you see there is interest to have more engagement, you can activate a voice call or a video call or even a screen share session. The really interesting thing is that not only does the hack allow the customer to engage between themselves, you could also have an agent join the customer call. And the agents can actually use the circuit product directly as clients to engage on that same e-commerce site. And as such, the agent can engage over his mobile device, for example. He could engage over a web client, and he can take advantage of circuit functions that we offer, for example, like a call swipe between a mobile client and a web page, where you can transition all the modalities that you have on the mobile phone, for example, to the web page in a single operation. So very convenient for folks that are mobile and or that are on the road and but still want to be engaged. The hack was using the Circuit JavaScript API, and you can get all the details about the JavaScript API for Circuit at developer.circuit.com. We have a sandbox environment where folks can register with and can try out all the APIs. And there's a wide variety of APIs, as mentioned, to leverage presence, leverage chat, leverage video calls, voice calls, screen share, direct calls between two folks, group calls with many people. And also a very interesting feature is that we provide persistence for all the engagements. So the call records, the chats, they can all be persistently stored within Circuit, and they are subsequently indexed and searchable, so it can really give you a very rich experience.
Cool. That's excellent, Johannes. And when I was chatting to Jean-Luc at the event, I think it was testament to just how easy the JavaScript API was, in that on Saturday when he started, he had a very reduced set of functionality he was trying to hack, and then because he got that working so early, he just added on function after function after function into his e-commerce platform. So it ended up being quite a rich hack by the end of Sunday. So yeah, he was a great testament to what you've built.
I think Jean-Luc did a fantastic job, and there's also a great video that you posted. So anybody that would like to see the details of the hack, a live demo, please check out the video. It's really a good example.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Johannes. Any questions for Johannes? If not, I don't see anybody jumping in. Anybody on the audio? If not, then let's move on to What's by Public. So, Rianne and Stephen, I think you're going to need to unmute yourselves. Let's hear from you.
Hello, can you hear
Yay,
me?
there you go.
We're back here. What's by hack? Yes. What we did, we found there's a piece of software on the internet that was built by a Dutch guy somewhere, and he discovered that the API of WhatsApp was publicly accessible by faking a phone number as a phone. You could script PHP to act as a phone to the API of WhatsApp. So you could go buy a small prepaid SIM card, so you even don't get your identity coupled with that phone number, and use that phone number to track other phone numbers through that application. And the power was that the tracker that talks to the API is separate, so you can create a big cluster of trackers. That was the thing that I didn't hack into. We used a very small setup, one tracker, very quick, that could talk to the API. And that was all not our work, that was just basic setting up some host and then do stuff. What we did extra to that was to create a script that generated phone numbers. So if you got your mobile phone number, always start with certain 06 or country code and then 6. Next to that, there are certain ranges defined in each country which are defined for mobile numbers. So if you just make a counter that adds and adds and adds and throw them into the tracker, you can add eventually all the numbers that are active on WhatsApp and track them. And most of the people even don't change their privacy settings, so you even get profile photos, names, and everything. And when you have those phone numbers, you can do other things with them. You know that those are active phones. So the things you can do is you can call them in how do you call it again? Social engineering. That was it. Social engineering, call them, and also find out information on Google because you have a phone number. Maybe you have some hits. Yep. And the other thing what you could do is automate the process of calling them like spam email by using the Today's API, for example. Because it's all scripted then, and if you are able to make it a bigger cluster and load balance it over multiple instances on Amazon, for example, you could call a hell load of people through that API, which from Epidase, which was not really closed as to developers. So you see the potential for, well, stuff.
Yeah, I think that this was the first hack we had where we actually had to not record part of it because of all the private information that you could access through that API, which for some of the accounts, if they've not set their privacy settings, was quite shocking. And it was the whole messages that they'd had, conversations they had with people, were just publicly available.
It's nice. You can do spearing. Yeah, you can do everything you like. You have one phone and everybody is running for you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very nice to have something like an email, a telephone number. Do you have seen the TADHack?
No.
No? Oh, I sent it to you.
Okay.
I think you like it.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, sorry, yes, yep.
What you can do with one email, yeah, and one telephone number, yeah, and one privacy. I think the world needs something like encryption or something.
Correct. Yeah.
How is the encryption, James? Hello, James?
Yeah, there we are. I'm unmuted. Sorry, what was the question?
How's the encryption on this moment?
For mobile phone traffic.
For all the traffic of the email. I hate email.
I'm sorry, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Well, James, what we also saw when we make our hack, and later on you hacked Rianne's phone by using her phone number, right?
Oh yes, yeah, indeed.
Yeah, but you like it. You like it.
Yes, if you've got the MSRSDN, you can use other tools to then go down and discover other things about the phone. And then Rianne got a little bit of additional traffic that she was not expecting, which may have come from a mobile network not a million miles away from here. But yeah, we don't really want to talk about that.
People around me.
Yeah, I was hugely impressed by this hack because just because of the imagination and the breadth of what you can do with it. And we've been using it internally as an example of, well, something that we can use to shock people and just show how open their social networking accounts are. So thank you for that, Rianne and Stephen. It was extremely shocking.
Yeah.
I like to shock you. This is my shoes.
Yes.
It's an inside joke, probably.
Be scared of it. Yeah, every man in this world.
Yes, Rianne, we love you. Even despite the size of your shoes.
Do you like blue pencils?
Do I like blue pencils?
Yeah, Miss Blue. Do you like Miss Blue pen?
I don't know what to answer. I'm damned if I do.
I have a new name on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you like it?
So what? You don't want to tell me what it is on an open broadcast, though, do you? Because you could end up with 10,000 new friends.
Yeah, that's not secure.
Yeah, I know. But my real name is Miss Cat, Miss Little Cat, Miss Pussy. Yeah. Miss Meow.
Are there, may I ask, are there any questions about the WhatsApp hack?
That I think it's a very good.
It's a very good question. And
so anyway, let's. But I think this was, just to wrap up. I think an excellent hack. It showed a security issue that remains open and isn't being answered. We can say, well, people just accept it, but the key is when, just as you said, James, when people see how insecure their personal information is, it really does, move them off certain platforms. So I think this was a great exploration of a particular issue. That exactly what TADHack's about. It's not just about sort of creating interesting commercial ideas. It's about showing particular aspects of technology that can impact across the board. So again, Stephen, Rianne, thank you so much. It was an excellent hack.
No. Can I say something? It is legacy. It is multiplex. It is not encrypted. Some things in the world. I hate email. I hate newsletters. Yeah, and I want. They must go. Can you help me? They have to go. They have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. You understand this?
I understand, but that's a personal preference. So.
I know. I work on it. I'm a personal preference.
Oh dear. But with that, Randy, I'll hand back over to you. Again, thanks so much for some great work at TADHack Paris.
You will not hand it over to me yet,
No?
Alan, because look, you see the slide?
Yay!
So
Thank
you need
so
to
much.
comment through. Tell us about this a little bit while we're here.
Yep, so we will be at Idea London again for TADHack Mini London on Saturday and Sunday, the 9th and 10th of April. The winners from TADHack London will get to present the following day at the WebRTC Global Summit and get free entry to that event as well. So definitely come to the hackathon, and then you can attend the summit if you're a developer for free. So we're doing well on registrations, a great set of people, and as I mentioned, James was just being an angel there in the background. We have quite a few very interesting people turning up, so I think it's going to be great just for networking as well. Then we have, in May, we have TADHack Uruguay. So that's going to be in Montevideo, and we're getting that set up at this moment in time. We're working with several of the local universities that have done some amazing work in open source telecom software. Part of what we're trying to do with TADHack is just expand globally to make all, so developers around the world aware that there is a community of telecom app developers, that telecom app development is cool, and this is part of our mission, is just going out, creating these TADHack events and getting more and more people involved in TADHack Global, which we have moved to the 14th through to the 16th of October. So you choose 2 out of those 3 dates. Most events will be on the 15th and the 16th, which is the Saturday and the Sunday, but some locations, for religious reasons or for other reasons, can't run on a Saturday or a Sunday, so we throw in the Fridays, so you can do like a Friday and a Saturday, or a Friday and a Sunday. We're putting the locations together. They are going to be numerous, likely 30-plus locations.
30-plus?
30-plus. We'll be running in parallel around the world.
Well,
we will also have a Central African Republic involved.
How are we going to do the scoring and marking for that?
Don't worry, that's all sorted. We make, yes, it will be hard work, James, but it's going to be well worth it. So just to wrap up on TADHack Global, the reason we moved it to October is all the students are back in, school, it's no exams taking place, and for developers, there isn't like an end of year or just before the summer sort of crunch. So hopefully we'll get good attendance both in the Northern Hemisphere and in the Southern Hemisphere. It's not yet summer, so I'm hoping that we can still get because we'll have a location in Buenos Aires, and I'm hoping we'll have several other locations in the Southern Hemisphere as well, including, again, Australia. So really looking forward to that. Back to you, Randy.
Just one final question, Alan, and thank you. You are the greatest. But is there a, or did I miss this? I mean, I was listening to you carefully, but you may have encrypted this part. Is there a central location, the global?
No. No.
There is no central.
We want to make all the locations equal. So there will not be any one central location this year. What we're doing is trying to make it fully distributed around the world. And we're doing our best this year to ensure that, for example, in Sri Lanka and in Bangladesh, we do a lot of sessions with some of the other global sponsors so that we get a lot of hacks that mash up not just Zenid Mobile, but with Matrix, with Telestacks, with TruePhone, so that we can get as many prizes distributed around the world as possible.
Okay, excellent, excellent. This is the first time that's happened, as far as I know.
That's it, yeah, it's an evolution, because the first time we started off with Madrid, and then we added on some satellites. Then last year we sort of did Lisbon, and we had a lot more locations, and it was a little bit more equal. But what we're now doing is just all the locations are equal, and we'll hopefully have an event running in Zambia, in Moscow, San Francisco, or well, Bay Area, Orlando, Chicago, Buenos Aires, London, Madrid, Lisbon, you name it. It's going to be all around the world. It's going to be fun.
Okay, excellent. The only problem is there won't be ice cream like there was in Lisbon. But anyway, that'll have to be a local thing.
Yeah.
I want to get thanks to everybody else who were the winners. Well, you've been compensated, so you're winners. You're all winners. I want to get back to Debbie, who's sinking very low in her camera angle. Tim, you need to wake up too and help me out with this. So we're going to talk to Debbie about her work, and then there's something else, a couple other things I'd like to mention. Also, because this has been a pretty short session, so we have a lot of things to talk about. But before we do, let's get Debbie in here because I want to know more about this. And Tim, you may need to be able to show that work.
I want to show Debbie something.
Okay.
Are you paying attention, Debbie?
I am.
You see this? This is an RFID tag. That's an RFID reader.
Yes. Yay! Yes. Thank you. Yes, make them do that. All 240, please.
Okay, well, so I've only got 24 over there, so. But anyway, so small steps along the right route there.
No, definitely. That's great.
Cool. Yeah, so tell us about the. Oh, no, whilst we're talking about the tech, I'm going to tell you about the tech because this is really funny. Right, so. These LEDs, and I should say that the electronics design for this was done by a mutual friend of ours who's actually been on the VUC many years ago, called Peter Stuger, and he did a lot of the electronics for this. And the LEDs have this; they're individually controllable, but they work in a daisy chain, and they work in this really bizarre way where you throw a bit stream at them, and the first LED takes the first 24 bits off, and then passes everything else along. And then the second LED takes off 24 bits and passes it along. So you have to send, and it's all clocked at, I think, 800 kilohertz, so quite fast, and it's all about the timing. So it turns out that it's actually really difficult to do. Things like the Raspberry Pi, you can't generate the timing accurately enough. Because if you get an interrupt that means disk read or a packet coming in on the network, then you lose the timing. So I was kind of despairing and thinking I was going to have to use an Arduino or some microcontroller to drive these things. And then actually Peter mentioned this to me, that the BeagleBone has a second processor on the chip, which most people don't use, called the Programmable Real-Time Unit. And you can load in very small programs into that, which it shares with main memory, and it will do something asynchronously from the main processor. So what I do is I load up this big bit stream of which LEDs should be what color and where, dump it into main memory, point the programmable unit at it, and say, go run this out down that port, and it just sends out the data, and I don't have to do anything in the meantime. So then I've extended that out so that you can then access it remotely from my app by sending this data into it. But it's a kind of, so the nice thing is that it's a sort of stacked up protocol of really low level banging the bits up to WebRTC, up to the top end. Anyway, that's my little geek run through, and anyone who's kind of wants to know about it, feel free to tweet me at SteelyGlint on Twitter. I'd be happy to talk about that. And Debbie's going to talk about what the sculpture actually does and what its real life is.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I have any more to add. I think, I mean, had you configured the tech in a different way, then that would have been fine. I just want to have something. I want to have Starway so that the audience and participants do something, and that affects the sculpture and causes it to light up. Other than flicking a switch, which might be quite boring.
It's worth saying that it's UV. The paint is all UV paint. I don't know if it's dark enough for that to be visible. Probably not.
So, because I'm used to having, not used to having technical failures, but tech failures happen or power sources get taken off you, so you can't always do what you want to do. I always design my sculptures so that if the interactive technical part doesn't happen, it still looks good until we can sort the problem out. So all the star frames are actually painted in UV paint. So the whole sculpture is already lit under UV, and then it has an extra layer when the interactive part works. But Tim, you were talking about sending it SMS messages, and that acting as a digital trigger to make the stars come on.
Yeah, it's a shame Adam isn't here, because that was one of the things I was thinking about extending it to do, so that it would, when you send an SMS to it, it would maybe do some sort of look at your phone number and work out what city you were from, or something like that, and then light up a star that was appropriate to you in some respect. So I was thinking that would be fun to do with the Tropo API, but Adam is in and gone, so we can't tell him that, or maybe we can.
Yeah, is he still? Adam, are you still on the SIP? No, he's left.
Yeah, I tried to call him about 5 minutes ago and got pushed through to voicemail, so he's probably
Okay.
doing commerce-related activities.
Yeah. Oh well.
So all the star frames are lit with UV. The individual stars are lit. Now we've just got to work out what kind of light display gets given to people. So on a very, 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 very basic level, it could be just lit with UV, no lights on inside Starway, it just sits there black. Well, as in no internal lights. And you walk up with an RFID tagged star. The UV lights go off, and then one star comes on. That would be a very, very basic interactive level, but I kind of want to do something a little bit more than that. So perhaps all of them twinkling, and then somebody brings up an RFID tag star. The whole sculpture goes dark again, and then one of them starts flashing a different color. And it's making all those decisions about, I don't know, what kind of effect you want it to have, and how much time people have got to write software, and what the power budget is as to how many we can have shining at any one time. So that's all the things that we're kind of considering at the moment. And
one of the interesting things, talking about the power budget, one of the interesting things is these are 5-volt LEDs, and when you're sitting there with a 3-meter star, or no, 5-meter star, that's quite a run of cable around it. So you're going to get a noticeable drop. At 5 volts, you're going to get a noticeable drop from one corner of the star to the other. So we have to think about actually the topology of how we run the cables and how thick they've got to be in order for that not to be an issue. And I think the other thing that we may get into trouble with, which I haven't really worried about yet too much, is we may end up being a radio frequency interference, because the whole thing's going to be going at 800 kilohertz, and it's going to be a 3-meter antenna.
oh, maybe I should tell Reno Sculpture Festival that then.
Well, I have a way of avoiding that from being a problem, but it's something we've got to think about.
I have an idea that might work if you could distribute a set of pedals, bicycle type pedals, so that people could transmit a level of energy and then have a star for the participants, 10 participants, and then the star would light up on the participant who was generating the most energy.
Okay.
I've just thought of a variant on that.
Or something like that.
I've thought of a variant on that, which we could have a thing which generates a thing based on your body temperature or your alcohol level or how awake you are or how fast your pulse is or something. But I mean, all of this tech is the trouble is you've got to get it into the hands of the end users, which is...
Well, that's why my idea is not that good, because you'd have to get that. But what could you do? I don't like the pulse idea, because you'd have lawsuits from people dying of heart attacks all over the world. What else could it be? Temperature? Yeah, temperature's kind of random unless people were like drugging themselves. Oh, I got to win this,
So one of the sculptures that Tim worked with me on at Burning Man 3 years ago was on capacitance. In fact, this another sculpture that I did recently, Fuck Love, that was on capacitance, and that set itself off in motion when 2 people put their hands on a.
Sorry, what was it called?
It was called Fuck Love.
That's what I thought you said.
So you should describe it, because it's
beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful things I've ever made. Can I attach photos on here?
You can get a photo, and if you've got a link, you can send it to Randy, or if you share your screen, you can show it.
Yeah.
But no copyright works that aren't yours.
So basically, I got quite obsessed with infinity mirrors, and the only infinity mirrors that I saw were square ones. People use picture frames. So does anybody want me to explain what infinity mirrors are?
I think we need to see it.
Yeah.
Need to see it. Let me.
Is there a URL or?
You talk. Oh yeah, URL. If
you need to put it into the chat here, and I'll bring it up.
Oh, hang on. Here we go. Oops.
Da, da, da.
No, sorry.
Oh my God! No, we're the only ones who see that. Don't worry.
Give me my email.
What? Double D.
Yes.
Double D.
Yes.
Oh,
James.
Oh, you're a big girl, Debbie.
James wonders why we
Behave,
have so much
James.
trouble. Yeah.
Is that right? Is that my website?
No.
Yeah,
That's your
probably.
website.
Does that work?
Well,
Let's
it
have a
will.
look. Let's have a look.
I can get it, but after that.
And then there's pictures on there. If that's.
All right. Let's see if I can find it. Taking a while. Obviously, I'm not going to show it until I know. Oh, okay.
This is one of the
So
best.
I am looking for.
Fuck love.
Third on the right.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
And there should be a
I
big
clicked
picture that
on it.
loads from that link.
All right, just a second. I'm going to share this.
So it was two infinity mirrors, one with the word fuck in the middle, one with the word love. Two people, it's a game for two people. Two people come up, one puts their hand on one side of the acrylic conductive tape screen, and then another person does, and as soon as it registers that there's two people there, it decides whether you should fuck or love or fuck love. And
that's based on your capacitance, I should tell you.
Yeah.
Not any other, genetic compatibility or anything.
no, that's just capacitance, yeah.
Oh,
And it's what was I going to say? Every single they're RGB addressable RGB LED. So this is just one of the configurations of colors that you can have. There's like, as you can imagine, millions more.
Oh, there's lower down the page. There's a video of it in action. I don't know who owns that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
something is that owned by anybody who's going to complain if it's
No,
shown?
not at all. That'll be.
Oh, it's got music though, so mute it.
Well, you won't hear it anyway because
All
I
right.
can't do that part. So.
Cool.
Well, what's going to happen if I make it bigger, though?
So that's the physical interface. They touch, it registers, then it sets off a program. And I wanted different kind of video animations. That's the only one we had time for.
That looks a little like what people were doing at the Millennium in Paris.
So they should love.
They should love. And did they?
The machine says they should love.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you
I don't know. We had one girl who must have brought 15 men to it over the course of the evening to find out what she could do with each one of them. That was quite funny. And then there was another couple who were on their 5th date and they hadn't even kissed, and they got love, and she just like flung herself at him. That was quite funny. Starway should be on here as well.
Yeah, I'm just. Okay. I think we should look at the light up dresses too. Starway's down here. No, well.
Yeah. So
which one?
The one.
Starway sculpture. We can go on there.
So
we can go on there.
Yeah, Debbie, I want to give your light up dress a block of mobile telephone numbers. Interactively
Very cool.
Interact with your light up dress.
Really? It flashed Morse code once and said, "Buy me a drink."
So here is that. I can't go full screen because if I do it, that won't share properly. So I'm just trying to make it as large as I can.
So ignore the rainbow-colored patterns. That's a photographic technique.
That is beautiful. It really is beautiful.
It is really beautiful.
Great.
Yeah.
I would love to have seen that live.
But so that's 5 meters tall.
Yeah. I get it. It's great.
Yeah. And so that's what Tim is going to make interactive for me, aren't you, Tim?
Yes, dear.
You remind people that we're on DDavies, DDAVIES.me. You can look at all this work. This is really spectacular stuff. I mean, it would be more spectacular if it was live, and VR wouldn't even do it really justice. But these are beautiful shots. Should we look at the dress? Is there a sufficient number of photos here for
the
that?
dress is really simple, but kind of 5-6 years ago when I did it, kind of nobody else was trying to fix. Not many people were doing lighty up stuff.
All right, let me see if I can
I've
larger.
There's a book that's just come out by Bloomsbury that got published in January by a professor at Nottingham University, who's written a book on the future of wearable technology and smart fabrics, and apparently interviewed the people that she believed had contributed the most to the knowledge pool around the subject, and I'm one of them. But I'm really being miserable in it.
No.
So just to complete the game, we have to look at the Luma stuff as well. The two pictures of Luma before and after.
What's with the lorem ipsum text?
Yeah, I've just realised I haven't populated that with any
text. You better do something about that. All right, what are we looking at here next?
So go back to the homepage.
I'm there.
This one, Luma.
Oh, did I pass it or not?
Yeah, up. The thing that looks like a spaceship.
Help, is it?
The thing that looks like a spaceship.
Well, I mean, this is all in a row now, so...
Up and down works better.
That's
that
it.
one.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Looks like an alien thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. So Luma was an alien spaceship we took out to Burning Man.
But why?
It stole 10 years off my life.
And mine.
And lost me all my friends.
Not all of them. Some
No,
of them are still
not you.
speaking
You
to
survived.
So this is Luma. So there's a couple of really lovely things about Luma. You can't see from this photograph, but her wings were made out of were glittery and reflective, and they were made out of used CDs and DVDs. But the best thing is the source of the DVDs, which I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to say in public or not.
Yeah, you can.
So they were actually they were all porn DVDs.
I knew it. Why did I know that?
So they were porn DVDs on their way to being destroyed, and they were all copyright violations. So we got to put them on there before we destroyed them. So that's Luma. The back view, the side. She had a lot of lights and stuff which you can't see in the daytime. But then at the end, if we've got somewhere up there, there's on the left-hand side of the page. There's a link to Burn. I don't know where it is actually. Let me see.
Oh, I got to go back.
Yeah, there you go. Luma Burn. That one.
Luma Burn. I had one of them. I had to go see a doctor about one of them.
Yeah, well, you would have done if you'd been Luma.
So you ended up destroying all the copyright.
No.
No, we had to strip everything that was toxic off.
Yeah, so all the plastics had to be removed.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a pure wood burn.
I have never been so happy to see something burn in my entire life.
I was personally very sad, actually, but she did look like she was trying to take off. Those swirls of fire, she was definitely trying to get back to her home planet, the last effort.
It was very emotional. Oh, and then I did a follow-up. I did a thing that ran alongside it, which was I developed this character called Mavis, the technoanthropologist, who basically studies cultures that have certain technology, including alien. And she gave a whole commentary about the Luma module and how it had actually existed once upon a time and all the mythology around it. And then she became a consultant for me to
Debbie, you are wonderfully, gloriously, totally batty.
Yeah, you could say that.
But so again, for the scale, Luma was what, a couple of meters high? 3 meters high, probably. The tail was probably 3 meters off, 3 or 4 meters off the ground.
I reckon it was 4.
And the wings were were about. I could just touch the wings. So that's what, 2.5 meters.
It was very big.
It was a solid piece.
Very ambitious.
Yes, or foolish, depending on your view.
I think it was both. I think anybody who says I'm going to build a sculpture for Burning Man and didn't even know how to put a blade in a jigsaw at that point probably was a bit crazy. But we did it. We did. There was
a desperate moment where I was trying to. We'd taken it. We'd built it in Oakland. We built it in. Yes, we built it in Oakland.
London Hackspace, we'd done a prototype.
We'd done the prototype, and they'd measured all of the wires, so they were all the right lengths. And they were DMX connectors, so you could plug them all together. And when we got out there in the desert, I tried to wire the damn thing up. and it would not join up. I couldn't do any combination of the 18 cables that would link up together. And the reason was somebody had artistically decided that the tail needed to be 1 meter longer.
Do you know, I didn't even know that story.
Yes, so I ended up having to go and I had to go and blag a longer cable from somebody. But fortunately, the radio guys across the road were very sweet and gave me a cable for it. But yeah, no, that was interesting. Yeah.
Debbie, are you going to be in Berlin when we're all there? I hope so.
When are you in Berlin?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we are going to be in Berlin for Kameo World, which is in Berlin from the 18th to the 20th of May.
Okay, well, how about I say I will be there?
You will
unless I will try and make it so I will be in Berlin for you.
I hope so, because we.
Can you wear your light-up dress again, please?
I will wear my light-up dress again. Yes.
Because I can't tell you how much we enjoyed that.
Well, I'm glad you were able to join us, Debbie, because you're an enormously talented person, and I hadn't seen those photos either. I've saw the dress. Okay, I think I sat next to the dress once.
Yeah, well, you kept on pressing it.
I did not. Well, I was pressing the buttons. Yeah. Oh, there are no buttons. Oh my God, what was I doing? No, anyway. Yes. All right. Debbie and I are close friends, and I'm hoping that you'll be there. Tim, you're going, aren't you?
Probably.
Please, you have to come, because somebody's got to be a buffer for James.
Thank you.
Oh.
James can be his own buffer.
Well, no, that never works out well.
No, I don't know.
Well.
I don't know.
Buffer.
I set that up for you, James. I just have to do this one more time because I can't tell you how much of an achievement this is.
Okay.
But Tim, I want to do it from here.
Oh yeah. So do you want me to give you access, or do you want to get it from Randy?
How can you get it from me?
What do I have to do?
I've
got my Android phone ready.
Probably easy. God, you want to use an Android phone for it?
No, I don't. I prefer to use an iPhone.
No, you need to just use Chrome.
So it's easier to do Chrome, because otherwise we can try it with Android, but it's going to be really difficult on the screen you're using and then screen share. Because I've got to see the.
Oh, he's not using. He may be using Safari or something.
So
but open up Chrome, James.
Here's the thing, James. I have to see the QR code on your Android tablet. So either you've got to hold it really steadily, or you screen share. I don't care which you do, but I'm just saying.
Now open. James, you're on Safari now.
I'm in Mozilla.
Well, open up a Chrome and use that. Oh, no, he can't. He can't share. No, I'm crazy.
So do it on the. It's fine. Do it on the phone. You'll just have to have a steady hand. That's all.
Well,
I have very steady hands.
Well.
Right. I should put a URL in.
What is the URL?
I'm just typing it in.
We need to do one of these where we can give everybody the URL.
I think it's probably that one there. Share my browser. Look up that one. It's not authenticated, is it? We don't want.
Yeah, that's it. You see it in the chat?
So I've just put it in the chat, James.
Yeah. Yes.
So you want to borrow. Go to that on your Android phone and then borrow. And then show me the QR. I mean, in real life, you would be next to me. It would be a lot easier than faffing about with video.
Go. Right, it's loading something slowly. It wants to use my camera and microphone.
Oh, no, that's the wrong.
So you've gone to the wrong thing.
Look for.
You need the slash on the end.
I need a slash.
Slash, yeah.
Dear boy.
Oh, no, okay. So I want to. What do I want to do now? I'm looking at the page.
So you want to borrow a friend's IoT device. So click on.
Share this device.
Oh, share your screen,
No,
James.
no, it's
Oh,
okay.
I'm
That's
sorry.
what
Yeah.
you want. And I
Yes.
hold that very, very still.
Wow, that's not going to be good enough. Well, maybe.
Yeah,
Oops.
got it.
It worked. Hey. All
You
right.
got it.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you now have access to a friend's device. What do I do now?
Yes.
It's
You
my
go back to the IoT page.
Might even work better. Who knows?
Yeah, and now control the prototype Starway sculpture by any chance?
Yes.
And it's doing something that looks a bit like that.
So you pick the one that's got the yo on it.
Which one's that?
It says yo in the QR code. There's two images there. You pick the top
No,
one.
it's a QR code. Okay. Cool. I haven't got my microscope, so I can't.
Yeah, it's a little small.
Well, you
But you should be
can
able-
grow the page.
Should be able to do this.
Yes.
Yeah, it says it's connecting.
Well, if it doesn't connect within about 2 seconds, you need to reload the page and do it again until it does.
There we are. So,
Yeah, if it hasn't done that, reload the page a couple of times. There's some bug that I think I know how to fix, but I haven't done yet.
it flashed up the star and then it went away.
Yeah, it does.
It does that. That's part of the
Been there, done
loading
that.
page.
Connecting, and it's not done it.
Yeah.
So let's
It'll
reload
take
it.
at least 3 times.
I do know, well, sort of half know why.
And it flashed again
Yeah.
in an enigmatic way. It's just taunting me, isn't it?
Yes, that's the idea.
All right, here's another idea. Here's
Wait.
It almost worked then. I
my,
knew
my headphone battery died.
trying so hard.
If you give me a minute, I can make absolutely certain it works. Hang on. Just stop a second.
Okay, I'm stopping.
Um,
I'm stuck on that.
If only we could. Here's another thing we could do is control the vapor from Debbie's vape thing. What are those things called anyway? See if we control the flavor, the aroma of that.
I didn't know you were a vapor.
I'm not, but apparently she is, right?
How do you know that?
Well, she had one. She had one visible a moment ago, right, Debbie?
Really?
What are you talking about?
What was that? A pen you were sucking on?
Right, try that.
Oh my!
Oh
God.
no! Wait a second. Still loading.
That's not a vape thing, Debbie. Oh my God! No, it's a pen, and it's a
Right.
permanent marker.
James, try it again.
All right.
Right, I'm loading. Oh, it just flashed the flipping star.
Yes, James.
Okay, here we go. Look at this.
Oh,
Trying,
no, that's
trying,
not it. It's
trying,
tries
trying.
connecting.
Got it.
Hey,
Oh, got
there
it.
it is. There it
Yay.
is. There it is.
Yay!
Yes.
Right. Now, if you make that big enough, make it, and now you can touch any of the centers of the stars. You probably need to see what you're doing, otherwise you'll miss. If the screen flashes, you've not hit the dot.
Make it a bit bigger. Hang on, here we go. Make it really big.
You've actually hit one of them. I can tell.
that one. Look, there we are. Look, really big star, so I can't actually miss that one, can I?
Yeah, well, that's already lit now.
Yeah.
Right,
Need to
well,
move on. Keep it moving.
Another one. Here we go. Did I get it?
No. Yeah, there you go. Got it.
Yes. Yay.
And I'll go right to the top now. Top star.
On the top star. Yes. Well, the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
So there's all of them go on for a second to show
So-
that there's something happening, right?
So after about a couple of seconds, it idles out and goes back to its default display, which is this rotating
Oh, I see. Okay.
color wheel thing.
I misunderstood
And then you can
that.
pick one.
Well, you know
Hey.
what, Tim? That actually works.
Yep. So
And so the trick is that I'm feel entirely safe in doing this because nobody else. It's a one-off. It's cryptographically secure. That nobody else, even though they could see that QR code, can access this and knows the URL. They can still not access it.
But you know what I want?
I'm
Weapons.
not going to like this, am I?
Weapons.
No, this is much more in the love than weaponry.
Yeah, but it doesn't have danger like tasers and things like that.
It sounds like a moment to mention Stabby Man then.
Oh,
Standing.
great. Yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
I'm staying out of this. In fact, I'm just going to
Tim doesn't like Stabby Man.
I really don't, actually.
No. So I've made a little gingerbread man, a felt man, and he wears Y fronts. And if you stab him in the underpants with a pin, his eyes light up. And he's called Stabby Man. And yeah, because when you put the pin in, it hits the back plate of the PCB and goes through some conductive material.
I worry about you, Debbie.
Yeah, you should. You should.
Should we ask you what actually brought you to this thought of creating such a thing?
Well, somebody showed me the circuit, and I just thought, oh, I could make something from that circuit. And actually on the PCB, it does actually say on the legend, look what happens when you teach a girl electronics.
I think that we should get Debbie involved in the conferences, just as I did wine tastings, which actually were totally unrelated, but this is more related with these kinds of demos, and get her involved in specific œuvres d'art for a specific manifestation.
Manifestation is a good word.
Yes, it is.
Debbie, you will have to come and do your own particularly warped version of Dangerous Demos at Dangerous Demos.
Exactly.
Okay. I'd like that.
Yeah, I think
So-
so.
I'd probably have to do it with Tim, though.
Yes, that's absolutely fine. I was just going to suggest that we collaborate on a warped dangerous demo.
Warp dangerous demo. Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
So you have to stab Tim in the Y-front.
No.
No, not that. Not that dangerous.
It evolved Stabby Man.
No. If it involves Stabby Man, I'm not doing
He's
it.
not going to do it. He hates Stabby Man.
I really do. I have strong negative feelings about Stabby Man.
Violence against men.
It is.
It's just the violence level.
I did Heart Man. He's just a tack switch, though. He's not that. You know, you just squeeze his hand and his heart lights up.
Oh, that's nicer. Or you could have something huggy or caressy.
Well,
or
I was going to have a woman who vibrated.
Yeah, but what do you have to do to set off the vibration?
And I will.
Let's just leave this where it is. Yeah.
I can reveal when we get into the mature audiences section where it's not recorded or public. My invention of several years ago that is related to that. But before we do, just a few minutes, James, I'd like to hear you. I think you may have been the only one at MWC, and it might be interesting, or maybe Alan, were you there? I don't know. But I'd like to hear. No, he wasn't. So, what was the most impressive? We don't have a lot of time to spend on this, but give us the headline of what was the biggest orgasmic thing that happened there.
Well, there wasn't one big thing, but many, many, many little things. So,
what impressed you?
Well, for me, something that impressed me was something called multi-fire. So that's MULTE fire, and that stands for mobile unlicensed LTE with fire tacked on the end. And last year at MWC, I went around all the big stands like Intel and Qualcomm, Nokia, complaining bitterly about how they had come up with schemes to run LTE and unlicensed spectrum, but all of them required you to have licensed spectrum as well, which is totally useless, because the only people who could use the unlicensed spectrum would therefore be the licensed operators. So that's totally useless. So I went and complained to everybody who would listen, and a lot of people who didn't want to listen. And this year, out of nowhere, came multi-fire, which is just LTE in 5 gig unlicensed band, which is impressive. And I thought, ooh, if I had a hand in that, that's pretty good. And that's coming. But that's just a tiny little thing.
James, you need to be very careful about how you pronounce that in Holland, because it sounds like a really good chain of cake shops. Multivlaar is a really good chain of cake shops. So just bear that in mind.
Very good. Anyway, there was a huge amount of IoT going on everywhere. It's IoT everything. Cars are totally IoT'd. And somebody came on and said that the future cost of electronics in cars is going to be more than the cost of the automotive train. because electronics in cars are becoming so important. So all kinds of interesting things going in there, like LTE cells in your own car that act as a rebro as you go along. Reasonably useful or useless. What other things do you see? Oh, Peter Dunkley was there, showing off lots of interesting web RTC type things, but he was up in Hall 8, and so nobody ever goes to Hall 8 because it's beyond the edge of the known universe. Oh, and in terms of handsets, the handset of the year this year, rather interesting, is not the Samsung Galaxy S7, which is boring. This year's handset of the year is the LG G5, which is a modular phone which you can take to pieces and clip different bits and pieces in. And rather interestingly, it's also the first phone to use the Qualcomm Snapdragon 820, which gives you all access to all the 5 gig band stuff. So Andy and I are going to have new handsets, aren't we, Andy? Yes, he nods. We want LG G5s because they're cool.
So what was the response to Facebook's announcement of the Open Telco Initiative or whatever it was called?
It's TIP, the Telco Infrastructure Project.
That's right, that one.
Well, there were the big MNOs who looking around going, ooh, what's that? Until they put up on screen a list of all the participants. And if you look at the, I think it's telcoinfrastructureproject.com or .org, it's a very impressive list of partners, including in UK, EE, bizarrely enough. EE.
And our old friends at IP Access.
IP Access, yeah, they're certainly in there.
And indeed, SS7ware.
Yeah, and Quartus, dear old Andy Odgers in there as well.
I don't know if our friends from Fairwaves are on that list or not. They should be.
No, they certainly weren't. They're not big enough.
Well, you think SS7 is much bigger?
Something that was there that will interest you. An embedded DSP-based or SDR-based ENO-B, so a base station, but a tiny one with embedded Ubuntu out of Line Microsystems. So they're the people who make the LMS devices that are used in things like Fairwaves. But right. This the latest generation, and the great thing about this is it's totally software definable, and they're going to launch these particular things on Kickstarter, or what's the other one that's not Kickstarter, the other one?
Indiegogo.
Indiegogo, that's the one.
So Indiegogo's got a bit of a reputation for being things that aren't necessarily going to get delivered. Because you get the money. So the thing with Indiegogo is you get the money even if you don't hit your goal, whereas Kickstarter you don't get the money unless you get the amount you said you needed.
How about GoFundMe?
Well, that's the next one down where you're arbitrarily giving people money, basically.
Sounds a bit like one of Debbie's projects, doesn't it?
What?
GoFundMe and something like that.
My knowledge of GoFundMe is that I know that people who are in dire straits use that to get money. I mean, in other words, they don't even have a project. It's just give me money, which the one I participated in was necessary. Somebody who lost his home.
I think you're making less promise about what's going to deliver. That's all.
Exactly. No, there's nothing to be. There is no delivery.
So who's that?
Terrible echo.
One.
You actually. No, I don't know. 1, 2. 1, 2. James.
It's me. Is it me?
Playing.
I will prove that it's James by turning him off. And it's James. No. Wait, who is Debbie laughing at?
Well,
Steve
Hola.
It was James.
Huh?
Is there a real life function to do that?
What?
Or can we only turn him off virtually?
Huh?
Right.
Is there a real life function where we can turn James
No,
off?
unfortunately not. No.
Oh, yeah. That's not so. I have a real life function. Just a moment. Yeah, a very nice real life. Okay, just a moment.
Why do I dread this?
I think it's time to stop the broadcast, though.
I think
so,
that would be very prudent to do that this instant.
yeah.
I
I
can
would press that button right now, Randy.
Yeah.